Good morning, dear students. Welcome to your economics class. First, students, in our last class, we have discussed about the various other names of modern currencies. Do you all remember what were the various other names? Symbolic money, token money, or legal tender money, high-powered money, etc. Right? So, what are high-powered money? Why are currency notes and coins called high-powered money? Because they possess a very high value, because they are issued or authorized by the government. They are accepted as a standard means of payment or as a standard measure of value across the country. That is why they are called high powered money. They in fact constitute the entire monetary base of the country. The money with the commercial banks, the money with the common people, the money with the RBI, all comes under high powered money. Okay. Also, students, the currency notes and coins are called legal tender money. They are called legal tender because they are legally accepted across the country. No one can refuse any payment made in the form of the currency notes and coins. And if anyone refuses to accept any such payment, legal actions can be taken against that particular person. So since they are legally accepted, they are accepted across the country as a standard measure of payment, they are called legal tender money. Also, students, the currency notes and coins are called symbolic or token money because they represent money. Most of the time we see that money is either in the form of a paper currency or in the form of metallic coins. But students, that paper or that metal itself does not have any value. It has a value. It is considered money only because it is authorized by the government, only because it has been given the power to serve as money by the government. So students, in case of symbolic money or token money, the money value or the face value is always more than the intrinsic value or the commodity value. What is money value? Money value means the particular value which is printed on that paper or which is printed on that metallic coin. And what is the commodity value or intrinsic value? It is the material through which that money is made. That paper or that metal through which the money is made, that is the commodity or the intrinsic value. And in case of symbolic money, the commodity or intrinsic value is always lower than the your money or the face value. Okay. So students, this is what we discussed in our last class. We also came to know that the paper currency notes and coins of denominations of rupees 2 and above are issued by the RBI with the permission of the finance ministry, whereas the notes and coins of value rupees 1, okay, of denomination of rupees 1 and its subsidiaries, earlier we used to have 25 paisa coin, 50 paisa coin, so all those are issued by the Ministry of Finance. Okay, that is the central government ministry. Okay. So students, let us now proceed with our today's topic. Today we shall be knowing about the banks, the meaning of bank, the concept of bank, the functions of bank, and we shall be knowing about the various types of deposits that are kept in bank. Okay students, so without further ado, let us start with our today's class. Well students, the learning objectives of our today's class are number 1, to develop the concept of bank and its various functions. So the first thing which is important for us to know is the concept of bank, what bank actually is, about the working of the bank and the various functions that are rendered or that are provided by a bank. Okay. Secondly students, it is important for us to know about the various types of deposits. We all know that we keep our money in the banks as deposits, but they are divided into various types. So it is very important for us to know about the various types of deposits. Also students, one very important concept, and I can say one very new concept to all of you, is the demand deposits, the concept of demand deposits. So students, from today's class we shall be able to understand the concept of demand deposits and why they are called a modern form of money. Okay. Well students, we all have at least some basic idea about a bank, right? A bank is basically a financial institution that is run with the prime objective of accepting deposits from the people and granting money or loans to the people, right? We all go to the bank to keep our money as deposits, and sometimes during the hours of crisis, we also may have to take loans from the bank. So this is what we know about the working of the bank, right? But students, it is very important for us to know about the other important functions of the bank apart from the process of taking deposits and giving loans, right? There are various other functions performed by a bank apart from these two major functions. So we shall be knowing about these various functions in our today's class. Well, students, banking system is the principal mechanism through which the money supply of the country is created or controlled. Well, students, the entire money, the total amount of money which is in circulation in the entire country is controlled, or that entire amount of money is created by whom? By the banking system. Banking system includes the various scheduled banks, the unscheduled banks, the commercial banks, the RBI, that is the Reserve Bank of India, right? So the entire banking system is responsible for creating and controlling the flow of money in the economy. Okay? So students, the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934 and the Banking Regulation Act 1949 governs the banking operation in India. So students, these two acts supervises the working of the entire banking system in the country. There has to be some kind of authority who will take care of the working of the banks, right? The banks cannot be given the sole autonomy of performing or working on their own. There has to have the superior authority who will look after the working of the bank. So who are those superior authorities? The Reserve Bank of India Act and the Banking Regulation Act 1949 supervises the working of the banks, the operation of the bank, right? And in fact, students, the Reserve Bank of India, which is the apex banking authority, the supreme banking authority, was founded under this Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. So the Reserve Bank of India was founded 1 year after this act was introduced, that is in the year 1935. And students, the banks are regulated with the help of this Banking Regulation Act of 1949. Okay. First, students, let us now try to analyze the functions of a bank, the various duties performed by a bank. So the first function we all know is accepting deposits. We go to the bank and we keep our money as deposits with the bank, and in return what we get? We get interest. Interest means some extra amount of money is given to the people as an incentive to attract them to deposit more in the bank. So students, what happens if I am going to the bank to deposit the money there? Why? Because I'll be getting some kind of interest in return. So suppose if today I keep 10,000 in the bank, after 1 year I will be at least getting rupees 10,050 or 11,000 or 10,500 or something like that. Something more I will be getting, right? So that something more is the interest. So what happens? The banks accepts deposits from the public, and in return they are given some amount of extra money, that is known as the interest. Okay. The second function is granting of loans. So students, the second important function performed by a bank is the provision of loan. People during the hours of crisis or when they are in need, they resort to the bank to take loans. Sometimes people need loans for various reasons, for their starting a new business, for their education purpose, right? So sometimes people might take a loan for various consumption purposes, right? To construct a new house. So there are various reasons for which people might need more amount of money, which might not be available with them. So what the people do? The people go to the bank and ask for loans. But students, the bank does not give them the loan just like that. The bank will ask them some kind of security. Security means some kind of guarantee or proof that will bind the people to return the loan amount. Students, what will happen if I take the loan and run away? There has to be some criteria, right? Otherwise, what will happen? People will simply take the loan and they will run away, they will escape. So to prevent such kind of fraudulent activities, the people who want to take any kind of loan, they have to provide some kind of security or some kind of guarantee with the bank that serves as a proof that they won't be running away. So for that particular matter, sometimes the people have to keep their property papers with the bank. For sometimes they might have to keep the papers of their car with the bank as a guarantee. So what happens if the people are unable to repay the loan, the bank will seize or the bank will take away that particular property of that particular person. Okay, and students, what happens along with the collateral or the security, the people are also required to pay a certain amount of interest. Just like in the case of deposits, the depositors are paid interest by the bank. Similarly, in case of loans, the borrowers, the ones who has taken the loan, are also supposed to pay some kind of interest to the bank. Okay, so what happens if I have taken a loan of 1 lakh rupees at the rate of 4%, let's say 4%, it can be 5% also, it can be 6% also, it can be anything. Okay, so if I take a loan, then what happens, I have to pay an interest. Not only the principal amount of 1 lakh that I have to pay, apart from that principal amount, I will also have to pay something extra to the bank as an incentive of taking the loan. Okay, so students, these are the two prime responsibilities of the bank, or these are the two primary functions that are performed by a bank: accepting loans, and when the banks accept loan, they give out interest to the people. Sorry, when the bank accepts deposit, they give out interest to the people, right? And when the banks give out loans, the people in return will have to pay them the interest. Okay, the third important function, students, is providing safety to the valuables of the customers. Students, there are people who are very rich. They might have very precious jewelry in their house, the jewelry of the mother, the jewelry of the daughter, the jewelry of the daughter-in-law. There are various other precious things. Sometimes the property papers are there which are very precious. So the people, instead of keeping these valuables in their houses, they might prefer to keep it in the bank under the safety of the bank, right? So the bank also performs this function of preserving or keeping the safety sometimes the bank also performs this function of providing safety to the valuables of the customers by keeping these things in the bank's locker. There is a provision of giving lockers to the people. The people might want to have a locker, their personal locker in the bank, where they will keep their valuables, their valuable items. Okay, then students, the next important function is transferring funds from one account to another for customers. Apart from accepting deposits, giving out loans, and providing safety to the precious commodities of the people or precious items of the people, the bank also performs the function of transferring funds, that is transferring money from one bank account to another. So for this we have the provision of check. Nowadays net banking has also come up, right? So the bank also performs the function of transferring money from one bank account to another. So these things we will be discussing later on in this chapter in great details. Okay, then students, the next important function is accepting payment for customer. So students, nowadays what we do, we do not carry cash. If I want to go for shopping, I will buy whatever things I need, and at the time of payment I will give out my ATM card, the debit card, and they will do the card payment, right? So the bank also helps us in our various payments. We do not have to carry cash anymore, right? The cards will do all the required things. Sometimes net banking will also help us in that regard, and sometimes checks are also, student, can be used to serve for various payment purposes. Okay, checks can be given to other person. Suppose I have to give you 1000 rupees. So instead of paying you cash, or instead of doing card payment or net banking, I can write a check in your name. Okay, and you will take that check and you will go to your bank and you will deposit the check there, and the bank will transfer the money from my account to your account, and you will easily get that 1000 rupees. Okay, so students, accepting payment for customers is also another important function of a bank. Okay, then the next one is making payments on behalf of the customer. So students, for the payment of various types of bills, electricity bills, school fees, then insurance premium, etc., people do not have to pay on their own. The banks, their own bank where they have their account, might also serve the purpose. For example, I have a bank in SBI, then what will happen, I can go to SBI and SBI will do the payment on my behalf. Okay, just sitting at my home, I can do the various kinds of payments. Nowadays we have Google Pay, nowadays we have Phone Pay, Paytm, which can be used to make the various kinds of payments. We can pay the electricity bill, we can pay the water bill, then we can pay the DTH, cable service bill, etc. Everything can be done with the help of a bank. Okay, so these are the various functions of a bank. Okay. Well, students, let us now discuss about the types of deposits. What are the major types of deposits? So basically there are two types of deposits. One is the demand deposit and the other one is the time or term deposit. So students, demand deposit means the money can be withdrawable on demand. Suppose I have an account, I have kept the money today only, okay, and for some emergency reason I need the money right at this moment. So today evening I need the money, but today in the morning itself I have deposited the money. So what will happen? I can go to the bank and I will take out the money without giving any kind of prior notice to the bank, right? So I can withdraw the money as and when needed. There is no specific time period after which I can withdraw the money. I can withdraw the money at any time. I can withdraw it at any ATM. I can withdraw it even by visiting the bank. I can withdraw it through the process of checks. I can withdraw it through net banking as well. So students, the main concept is in demand deposits, the money is withdrawable at any time without giving any prior notice to the bank. Okay. But students, in case of time or term deposit, for the withdrawal purpose, the account has to mature. The account has to reach a certain stipulated period of time. Without reaching that certain stipulated period of time, one cannot withdraw money from his or her account. Okay. Suppose in this case what will happen, I have kept the money, let's say I have kept 5 lakh rupees in my account for 1 year. So the maturity period is 1 year. So prior to that maturity period, I cannot withdraw any money, not even a single penny from my account, even though I want to. Even though I need the money for any emergency situation, I cannot withdraw the money because the maturity period is given as 1 year. So before the 1 year, I cannot withdraw any money. So this is the difference between demand and term deposit. In case of demand deposit, the money can be withdrawn as and when needed. But in case of term deposit, it can be withdrawn only after the maturity, only after a stipulated period of time. Okay. So students, demand deposits include the various current account and the savings account. So current account means the account which are mainly operated by the business persons for conducting their day-to-day business activities. There are many people who are indulged in various kinds of business, right? And in business, we all know that money is needed on a day-to-day basis. To buy something, to visit some place, the business person might need the money. It is basically run on a day-to-day basis. So current account is mainly operated by the business persons to carry out their various day-to-day activities. Okay, so in day-to-day activities they might need money, they might need money for any emergency situation. So that is why they keep their money in the form of current account, so that they can withdraw the money whenever they need. Okay, the next one, students, is the savings account. Savings account is also like a current account, but it is not specific to any business person. Any person can open a savings account. I can also open a savings account. You can also open a savings account. So whenever I need the money, I can visit any ATM and I can withdraw the money. Okay, and savings account offers us a rate of interest. Current account also offers us a rate of interest, but which is very less. Okay, next, students, the time or term deposit includes fixed deposit account and recurring deposit account. Students, I think you all have heard of fixed deposits. Fixed deposit means the money is kept in the bank for a fixed period of time. Suppose I have kept rupees 5 lakhs in the bank for a period of 5 years. So after 5 years, that particular amount of money will mature, and only after 5 years I will be able to withdraw the money. That is why it is called a fixed deposit. It is fixed in nature. One cannot withdraw the money before the maturity of the fixed account. Okay. Then the next one, students, is the recurring deposit account. Recurring means which keeps repeating itself, right? So students, suppose I am a working person, I get salary, so I get money on a monthly basis, right? So what I do, suppose whatever amount of money I earn, I might I might not be spending the entire money, right? Suppose I am getting 20,000, I might not be spending the entire 20,000. So what will happen? I might need 10,000 for my monthly budget, and the remaining 10,000, what will I do? I will keep it in the recurring account. So students, in the recurring account, what will happen? If I link my salary account with my recurring account, every month from my salary 10,000 will be deducted. It is not exactly 10,000. You can keep any amount. If your salary is more, you can keep 20,000, you can keep 30,000, you can keep 50,000, any amount you can keep. So it is recurring. It will repeat itself. Every month 10,000 will be deducted from your account. And if you have kept the recurring account, if you have opened the recurring account for 2 years, then after 2 years, after deducting money from your salary, 10,000 rupees per month every year for 2 years, what will happen? After 2 years, your account will mature and you will be able to withdraw the entire sum of money in a bulk amount. Okay, so if you keep your salary 10,000 rupees in the form of a recurring account, then just imagine after 2 years how much you will be getting. In 1 year you will be getting 10,000 into 12, 1,20,000. In 2 months you will be getting 2,40,000. And not only that, you will be also earning an interest rate. So you will be earning at least 2,50,000. So this is the procedure of how a recurring account works. Okay. So students, time or term deposit includes fixed account and recurring account, whereas demand deposit includes current account and savings account. Demand deposit can be withdrawable as and when needed, whereas time deposit can be withdrawn only after the maturity of the account, only after reaching a stipulated period of time. Okay. Students, the various types of demand deposits are called modern form of money. We have come to know that the currency notes and the coins are called modern form of money. But students, apart from the currency notes and coins, the demand deposits are also called money because they serve the very essential functions of money. Let us find out. Students, demand deposits can be used to settle the various kinds of payments of the customers even without using any form of cash. I have just given you the example of the buying things. Suppose I am going for shopping, I can buy dresses, whatever I want. I will simply have to make the payment by using net banking or by using my ATM card. So it can be used, demand deposits can be used to make various kinds of payments without having the need of any kind of cash. That means without having a single penny, I can buy things. My ATM card or my net banking account will help me to make various kinds of payments, right? So it serves as a means of payment. Next, students, it can be withdrawn anytime through checks, ATMs, etc. Not only I can make payment, it can also be withdrawn anytime as and when needed. And students, demand deposits has purchasing power. It has the capability of purchasing things. That is why it is said that it has purchasing power. And students, we all know that anything that has purchasing power, anything has that has the capability of buying things is considered as money. Anything that has purchasing power is money. So since demand deposits also has purchasing power, they are also considered as money. Okay, students. So students, these are the reasons for which demand deposits are also called the modern form of money. First, they can be used to make various kinds of payments without the use of cash. The payments can be made through the debit cards, the payments can be made through net banking, the payment can be made through the various, nowadays these things have come up, the Google Pay, Phone Pay, Paytm, etc. So payments can be made even without having a single penny in our hand, right? It can be withdrawn whenever we want. And third thing, it has purchasing power. Anything that has purchasing power is considered as money. And so demand deposits are also considered as money. Okay. So students, these are your homework questions. First is define a banking system. The second one is state the various functions of a bank. The third one is Which governing body regulates the working of the banking system of the country? So which governing body regulates the working of the banking system? It is the RBI, the Reserve Bank of India. Then distinguish between demand and term deposits. And the last question, demand deposits are one form of modern money. Justify the statement. So students, today we have discussed all these topics. You try to do your homework. Students, go through the video very carefully, because tomorrow I shall not be starting with any new topic. Rather, we shall have a doubts clearing session on this particular video. Whatever I have covered in this video today, we shall be having a discussion on these very topics. Okay, so I suggest you go through the video very nicely and attentively, and try to raise questions. Try to understand the video, what the content given in the video. Try to find out your doubts, and in our next class, that is tomorrow, we shall discuss about all the doubts that we have. We shall have a doubts clearing session. Okay, so students, today we have discussed about the bank, meaning and concept of bank. We came to know about who regulates the bank, the RBI, that is the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934, and the Banking Regulation Act 1949 regulates the working of the bank. And then we came across the various functions of the bank: accepting deposits, granting loans, making payments, etc., etc., right? And then students, we came to know about the two types of deposits. One is the demand deposit and other one is the term deposit. Demand deposit includes current account and savings account deposit, and time or term deposit include fixed account and recurring account deposit. Okay, and students, we also came to know that demand deposit is considered as a modern form of money because it performs all the major functions just like money. Okay, so students, your homework for today's class shall be to go through this video again and again. Try to understand the content, whatever concepts are there in the video. Tomorrow we shall be having a elaborate discussion on this video itself. You can even try to do your homework. In case you are unable to do, tomorrow we shall definitely have a discussion on that. Okay students, then let's wind up our class here. See you all tomorrow in your class over the Zoom. So we shall be having a Zoom session. Please be prepared. And students, one more thing, those who have your names saved as Oppo, Vivo, Redmi, kindly rename it by using your own name. Okay, otherwise it gets very difficult to recognize you all. Okay students, so see you all in your next class. Thank you, take care and stay safe.